having a legendary week. Today, Jason and I will get into some tight end discussion. Also, talk about the two fullbacks on the roster and also get in a little bit of our thoughts on Greg Clark's passing. Well, Jason will give his. But before we get started with all that, we like to remind everybody that you can subscribe to YouTube or Amazon, Twitch for free by using Amazon Prime. Also, go to Niner Faithful or twitch.tv/Niner Faithful Radio to join us for all the live streams of our show. For the Faithful, by the Faithful pre-launch sales coming July 30th. Save 20% off of all our designs. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop for more details, or follow Niner Faithful Radio Shop on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio Shop, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful RS. And Thursday or Friday, we will have some designs launched. Well, not launched, but ready for everybody to check them out. So make sure you check out Niner Faithful Radio Shop's social media for all that. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com to get all our previous episodes and a couple other goodies we got. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio, all one word, and save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets. Also use our affiliate link when you shop at shop49ers.com to really help out the show. And as always, you can follow us on social media on Instagram and Facebook, and now Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful Radio Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, I've already screwed up enough 50 billion times. Let's go ahead and start the show. What's cracking, everybody? How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good. You over there? You okay over there, man?
Oh man, I can't freaking talk today for some reason, bro. I have no idea. I'm literally.
You hit everything on the list.
What makes it so embarrassing is I'm literally staring at it on a freaking screen, and I can't even read it right.
I was like, yeah, keep going down the list. Eventually, you'll hit Twitch.
Oh God, Lord Jesus help. Look, I need a vacation. Maybe doing this, every stream thing might not be a great idea for your boy. But
hey man, my vacation is getting really close at work. I can finally see it on the calendar. I'm less than a month away.
Well, you know what? I actually got I got something to do on Thursday, and hopefully Saturday I'll be able to go out and maybe hit the city. Go out, and we might be doing some photo shoots at Kezar Stadium.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then probably hit the wharf and go have some seafood at the wharf, like a bread bowl or something.
Yeah.
Go out for the city for a day. So we might be doing that on Saturday, and that'll be kind of a nice little vacay. But anyway, so real quick, I already gave my thoughts yesterday, but Jason, just your real quick thoughts on the passing of former Niner tight end Greg Clark.
Obviously, everybody's sad about that. He played 4 years with us.
Yeah.
He's going to be mostly remembered for that Green Bay game where he caught those 2 touchdown passes for the most part. I mean, he was your prototypical 1980s quarterback, tight end. He wasn't going to catch the ball a whole lot. He was just going to block a whole lot. But he played his role well, and when it came time for prime, he was pretty clutch when it came to catches late in games and stuff. So, but like I said, it's go ahead.
It was funny because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Matt Mayoko shared a story about him, and I believe it was Greg Clark, that before a game, he had a Tyrod Taylor situation that they had punctured his lung, shooting him up with Novocaine. And I believe it was Greg Clark played through it. And so he played the whole game with freaking basically a hole in his lung. And he said that, he was extra tired, and he said he tasted gasoline. And he was extra tired, throughout the game. And then after the game, they went ahead and checked him out and were like, yeah, so you need to get to the hospital right now. And apparently, I guess his wife was in labor, and his wife ended up going into labor on the way to the hospital, or on her way to the hospital or something. It was like a crazy story, but I want to say, I believe it was Greg Clark that Matt Maiocco said that happened to. And so it was one of those situations that, let's be real. I'm 35, going to be 35 and a half shortly after the season. As a matter of fact, at week 2, I'll be 35 and a half. And I remember Greg Clark playing. I remember those 2 touchdowns against Green Bay, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, bruh, am I old enough yet to start having football players I remember drafting dying? Like, I don't think I'm that old. And so, ironically, he was 49 years old. So obviously our hearts and thoughts and prayers are going out to his wife and his children. And, honestly, it's one of the very few things that sucks about covering football is, from what I read from his family statement, he was recently suffering from symptoms of CET. And, it's just one of the very few things that sucks about, playing football is you got to live with stuff like this, and kind of, I'm not going to say I'm going to ever stop watching football or anything like that. But, it's one of the very few things that does suck is that, the sport kills people. Let's not beat around the bush. Dwight Clark got LS because he played football. Our hero died basically because he played football. And so it's one of the very few things that sucks about covering and watching and loving football is you kind of got to deal with crap like that. But obviously the awkward transition from real life scenarios into football. But we're going to go ahead and get into the tight ends and fullbacks real quick. I think that we'll go ahead and start off at fullback because that's the easiest one. Josh.
One.
Yeah, let's be real. I want to give Josh Hokett his respect and say that he went to Fresno State, appeared in 51 games, 8 starts in 4 years, rushed for 805 yards, 17 touchdowns on 303 carries. Also tallied 25 receptions for 153 yards and a touchdown. In 2019, he appeared in 12 games, 1 start, and recorded 75 carries for 287 yards and 9 touchdowns. Also added 70 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown. As a junior, he appeared in 13 games, 1 start, registered 73 carries for 260 yards and a touchdown, and 8 receptions for 56 yards. In 2017, he played in all 14 games, 4 starts, and recorded 128 rushes for 583 yards and led the team with 7 touchdowns on the ground. As a freshman, he appeared on all 12 games, 2 starts, and contributed as a fullback, running back, and linebacker. Recorded 27 carries for 130 yards, added 7 tackles at linebacker, and earned all academic All-Mountain honors. He attended Clovis High School, where he rushed for 820 yards and 8 touchdowns and notched 125 tackles as a linebacker as a senior. He was named Fresno Beat Athlete of the Year. Clovis is actually a really nice city. I used to live by Fresno. Anyway, let's be real. He's a camp body. He's brought in that whatever, snaps and whatever reps that fullbacks get in the training camp, he's there to basically take the load off of Juice. We don't want our highly paid fullback / lowly paid tight end to get burnt out in training camp, especially since with Trey Lance throwing checkdowns, pretty consistently. I think that Juice will have a big role this year, even more than we've seen. And so that, of course, if Trey starts. That's how I look at it. Jason, your thoughts? Josh Hokett?
I
You know,
hope he doesn't play on Sundays. No, nothing against the guy, but I hope he doesn't play. I mean, like I said,
yeah,
we need Juice out there, and so
yeah.
maybe he's better than Juice. But right now, just going off of what we got, I don't want to see him on Sundays, kind of thing. Like I said, no disrespect to you, man, but
Yeah.
we need our boy. Like, going back to our show last season, I had Juice as one of our most valuable players on the team, just because he was healthy. So I mean,
You know, I think, and this is while we're talking about Juice, I was thinking about this the other day, and you know, kind of talking to it on one of the shows. I don't remember which one I was talking about it on, but you know, everybody's talking about the contract that Juice got this offseason. Well, let's be real; it's a 3-year contract. Also, what I like to think of it is I don't like to think of Juice as the highest paid fullback in NFL history. I like to look at Juice as a mid to bottom tier paid tight end.
yeah.
You know, if you look at his, I mean, let's look at his cap hit real quick. Kyle, Juz, check contract. So, delay. Okay, here we go. So his first via overthecap.com, his cap hit for this year is 2.251471 million. So he's 1.1% of the cap. So after the final year of his contract, he gets the 677. So if you really think about it, at most he's a $7 million player. And yeah, that's pretty high if you're talking about a fullback. But what if I told you Juice was a tight end? Would you accept Juice as a tight end making $6.72 to $7 million a year?
How much did you say his contract was?
His cap hit for this year is $251,741 is his he has a base salary of $1,075,000, prorated bonus of $800,000, per game roster bonus of $400,000, and his guaranteed salary is the same as his base salary. So his cap hit is just slightly over 2.25 million.
When you look at the tight end list, he comes in just below Rob Gronkowski. Who was he above? He was right above Anthony Firkser, like Chris Mertz and Geoff Swain. So I mean, he'd be up there as a tight end, or maybe in the middle.
Yeah, mid-tier tight
obviously
end.
You got yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you know, my second tight end, you know, making less than $3 million this year. I'm even okay with my, you know, second tight end making $7 million. Now, honestly, I do believe it's in 2024. His cap hit is just slightly over $7.5 million with a dead cap. If we cut him pre-June 1, will be just over $2.5 million. And if we cut him post June 1st, it's slightly less than 1.3 million, or slightly over 1.3 million. So he's probably going to get cut in 2024.
Most likely. He either gets cut or he gets he signs for less.
Restructured. Yeah, restructured.
Yeah, restructured.
So, but as for the next 3 years, I'm perfectly okay with that.
What's up, Rich?
What's up, Rich? How you doing, baby? I'm okay with that as long as, you know, Trey Lance is still under that rookie contract by then, and so that's okay. Now, you know, we're gonna get a little touch and go depending on whether we re-extend Debo. Thanks, brother. We appreciate it. You know, whether we re-extend Debo, there'll be some things that we need to talk about, but I mean, that's basically, we might as well just call them the San Francisco. No longer the fullbacks. They're basically the Kyle Juszczyks because he's a unicorn, and Trey Lance to start week 1. Trey Lance to start week 1. You know, we're going to get into that
Come back next week
when we do. Yeah, come back next week when we get into quarterbacks.
Find out next week on Niners Faithful Radio.
There you go. Find out next week on Niners Faithful Radio. You know, it's funny. I actually did want to kind of make a Batman intro with a pow, bang, boom. Anyway,
but
so
his is 2.5 and then Kittle's 5.4.
For what? Base cap hit this year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, that's not bad. So you're paying Juice half of what you're paying George Kittle. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm okay with that when I don't really see the big issue about that.
People will freak out when they find out he's just a fullback because that's what he's listed as. But when you actually see what he does for this offense from overall, it's like, oh, that's all we're paying him? Like, we could easily, for everything that he does, we could easily pay him, closer to 4. But to get it for 2.5, hell, I'll take that all day.
Exactly. And so it's very the Pro Bowl is going to be, fullback in the league. Now he, one of the only fullbacks in the league, but he's going to get you a couple carries. I'm interested if we use, Juice in the red zone a lot more this year. I felt that Juice isn't used in the run game as a runner as much as maybe I'd like to see him. I would like to get some goal line because let's be real. We all love Shanahan. We all love Shanny and everything like that. But, red zone has been an issue for this team. And it's obviously something that you feel with Trey Lance will improve automatically just simply because Trey Lance can run it in himself. And I do believe that if you're seeing a lot of design runs for him this year, if he does indeed start, or like I believe gets in pretty much the most of the time I would see him running is in the red zone. I don't think Kyle wants to expose him to too many hits. I've had people think that Trey Lance is going to get 10 carries a game. You're smoking rocks if you think Trey Lance, if Kyle Shanahan's going to put the future to expose to 10 to 15 hits a game. No. That's not happening. That's not.
He may get 10 to 15 plays a game, but he's not getting runs.
10 to 15 plays, but not runs. Hell no, he's not running the ball that much. I'm actually really curious on how good of a slider he is because I didn't see too much of him sliding. O-line's going to break down and he'll be running for his life. Go back to probably about a month and a half ago that we did the O-line. I think our O-line might be a little good. The week before we get into camp, we're going to go ahead and get into our camp battle / biggest concerns heading into the season. But the O-line, to me, is not one of them, bar injury.
It's arguably our second best position group.
Over what? Linebackers or D-line?
I'd go D-line than offensive line.
Over linebackers?
Yes. Depth. If you go that's an argument for another linebackers. The linebackers we don't have depth at linebacker. We really don't.
No, we don't. Okay.
But the defensive line is deep.
Yeah, well, obviously look, the defensive line is going to be the most deepest, the most talented, the most invested position group on this team. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have both talked on multiple occasions about how they want to build this team from the D-line. That's how they believe you build
Rich,
a football
man,
team.
Thank you for the Prime subscription, brother.
Oh, thank you, Rich, so much. Thank you so much. I don't know. Jason could do the little sounders or I don't even know.
I don't have it set up on here.
Thank you, sir. We tip our caps to you. So I think that okay, I go D-line and O-line. When you look at when you say depth, then yeah,
If you add
okay,
in
because
depth,
I like
yeah.
Brunskill. Yeah, I like Brunskill. Okay, I can see that. Okay, so getting basically, Jason, um, your final thoughts on Juice making the roster, I assume. Like,
Well, Juice will be there. Like I said, last year I had him as my offensive MVP. You know, think about how good the run game was still being handled all the time, and who was all 96 running backs that we had back there last season. They got knocked down one after another, and who was still leading them on the runs? It was still Juice up there. He was still catching those balls out of the backfield and everything else. So I just see, like you said, I want to see more of him in the red zone. I'd love to
yes.
see like with red zone do like a little flare out with him and give
The wheel route.
like or just give like Trey the option to run it or throw it. You know, how many times have
Yeah.
we seen that run against us? And with Jimmy, we don't have that play. He can't make it. And I'd love to be able to use that kind of a play.
And what also I see with Trey in the game is how many times last year did we see Juice on that little wheel route, wide open, could easily go for 50 to 40 yards, maybe even walk into the end zone. He's so wide open, and he gets overthrown. You know, I
Or
think
Jimmy
that
couldn't take 2 steps to the left to avoid one person.
yeah,
And then,
exactly.
get an easy layup to Juice or whoever. So
And it's just it's so he brings so much to this offense that I can't imagine it without him. So yeah, as you can tell, we're both basically big Juice fans. One of my favorite Juice moments was, I want to say it was in 2018, maybe 2019. He came by and he chopped it up for probably about 3-4 minutes before practice one day. And he walked away, and I was like, Juice. It's like, sun's out, guns out, baby. And he went and flexed and everything. And everybody went, Juice. And he started going like, trying to pump up the crowd and everything like that. Like, Juice is a great personality, great man, smart as hell.
People. His Instagram and all his posts, dude, he's always out there just having a good time.
It really is. The man freaking ate dinner with a Niner helmet on. I mean, God, I love it. I love it. All right. Now, as we go to tight ends, obviously we're going to save the best for last, but Ross Dwelley. Josh Peterson. Okay, yeah, fine. We can go ahead and start for last. Josh Peterson. Hold on, it's loading his thing right now. Okay, appeared in 44 games, 33 starts during his 5-year career at Louisiana Monroe through 2016 through 2020. And registered 99 receptions for 1,191 yards and 11 touchdowns. In 2020, he started all 10 games and tallied 32 receptions for 367 yards. As a junior, he earned first-team All-Sun Belt honors, started 12 games and recorded 43 receptions for 567 yards, 9 touchdowns. In 2018, he appeared in 11 games, 5 starts, notched 12 receptions for 121 yards and 2 tugs. And as a redshirt freshman, he saw action in 11 games, 6 starts, and registered 12 receptions for 136 yards. He redshirted in 2016. Jason, your thoughts on Josh Peterson?
I thought it was a very interesting pickup that we got him, because when you look at his stats, they're not overly impressive for the most part. But he's going to be smart. I mean, his dad is a former head coach of the Eagles, Peterson. So,
yeah.
With that, maybe we bring him over eventually at some time. I thought that'd be kind of interesting, With Peterson no longer having a coaching job anywhere, maybe we could have brought him over to help coach his kid, kind of a thing. But maybe he beats out Dwelley or Warner for a position on the field, but I don't. Right now, I find that highly unlikely. Minus an injury, or maybe he's a lot better than I assume he is. But as of right now, he's definitely a practice squad candidate at the moment. But we'll see. It's like I found it very interesting that we got him.
I mean, look, it's. Do I think about when I think about it? I mean, does he have a shot? Sure. I don't
Everybody
believe.
does.
what I've heard is kind of a favor of Doug Peterson. Hey, can you sign my kid? Give him a shot, and everything like that. I don't think that. I would like to think that, everybody who we brought in this year has a chance to make our roster. Um,
Yeah.
so could he make the roster? Yeah. I put Charlie Warner on more of a notice than Dwelly. I like Ross Boss. Could he improve? And we'll get to him in a second. But I'm curious to see in camp. And okay, let's see what you got, Rook. We've all talked about NFL pedigree, and your father's a good enough coach to, coach an NFL team to a Super Bowl and beat probably one of the greatest coaches of my lifetime, or at least my football lifetime, in Bill Belichick. I mean, that's saying something, for a dad. So, hey, let's see. Let's see how you do, Rook. And I agree with you, Jason. Like we were talking in the pre-show meeting, he's practice squad. Maybe if an injury happens, he'll get his shot, but I don't expect much from him. Moving on, you have Ross Dwelly. Now, this to me, I believe Ross Dwelly, I believe, is going to make the roster by default. And what I mean by default, it's clear that the team wanted to bring in another tight end. We brought in Delaney Walker this year. We brought in, I believe there was a few other fullbacks.
Yeah, we brought in quite a
tight ends.
Yeah, there's a couple
which tells you
came through.
We obviously know about the team bringing in Jordan Reed, which honestly I really felt hurt because I really wanted to see Jordan Reed and George Kittle together. And we never really got to I believe it was only week 1 that we got to see it, and I believe Reed only played a handful of snaps.
It was like 5 or 6
Yeah, he
plays
only played like it was only like a handful of plays. So I believe Ross Dwelly is the second best tight end by default. And I like Ross Dwelly as the second, third tight end. I believe the issues he has is with blocking. So hopefully he has improved on that a lot this year. But if Josh Peterson, Charlie Warner show up and play with their pants on fire, I could see Ross Dwelly being on the outside looking in of this roster. I don't think his roster spot is guaranteed by any means. Jason, your thoughts?
I actually think he's better blocker than he is receiver. Off their obviously number 1 Kittle, the number 2 position to me is wide open between 3 people. So if you force me to choose one or the other, I would take Warner over Dwelly. I think Warner, being a little bit younger, we could possibly move him, so. But like I said, they're almost equal in a lot of spots when it comes to it. There's not a lot of drop off from one guy to the other between Warner and Dwelly. So, like I said, I think one of them is not going to make the roster.
Yeah. Oh, I can fully see that. I think that you would right now, if you put a famous show saying gun to my head and made me choose, the 3 tight ends we're going to keep. I say it's a wash from last year. You got Kittle, Dwelly, and Warner. If you put a gun to my head, but if Peterson steps up or a player we're going to get to next steps up and shock some people in camp, the second and third tight end roster spot is definitely written in pencil. It's not written in ink as well. And
I don't even think it's written. After Kittle, I don't think that piece of paper doesn't have anything on it.
And also, I know this is a little crazy and a lot of people aren't going to say that, but what would you think about Jalen Hurd coming in and being our second tight end?
Let's just get him on the field healthy. And I'm not against that idea, but I would like to see the man healthy before we start speculating anything. But he's got the body for for sure.
I'm a little concerned on if he wanted to do it because, we obviously knew that he switched from running back because of the physicality and receivers generally play longer. And, playing tight end ain't exactly, a non-physical position, especially, in our offense. I think that's what he's going to be. I said tight end. I meant more like a receiver, tight end flex.
Yeah,
Or
if
anything like
he
that.
was being, he'd be Kelsey. He'd be our version of Kelsey.
Could he line up in the line and then come into motion and flex out to the slot?
Oh yeah.
Pre-snap and everything like that. Those type of things. But I'd be curious because I remember 2019. He came by, and when they did the rookie hype up thing, he came in the crowd and he slapped my hand. And I definitely remember thinking, dude, that dude, and I mean, it was just a casual, slag. He wasn't trying to, be, and I was like, damn.
I mean,
just a casual, like, real quick high five. I was like, holy shit. And so, to get him as a blocker, and I understand that he wouldn't necessarily want to do it 60 snaps a game. But, I'd be very curious to see what he, you got him and Kittle. If you can have a 2 tight end set on the same side and have Mike McGlinchey, George Kittle on one side and Jalen Hurd and Trent Williams on the other, that's some beef coming towards you. Good luck.
He has the size to play it. It's just whether or not if I sneeze and he gets hurt.
And that's another thing is, coming off of, fractured back and a torn ACL, not necessarily maybe wanting him to move to tight end. And not to turn this into, the Jalen Hurd show, but I have thought about, somebody brought this up on a podcast. Excuse me for not knowing which one. I listened to so many, but they said that they're not as high as on Jalen Hurd. Not necessarily for the injury factor, but that how little he's probably been able to work on his craft as a receiver. Because he only played receiver 1 year at Baylor. Yeah. And so you come in, you come in your rookie year, you get all of offseason and training camp, and then what? He hurts I could have swore he was in that Broncos game, the second preseason game. I could have swore he got in the second preseason game, and that's when he got hurt. I could be wrong. But basically what? Like one game and maybe a few hand snaps of another, maybe. And, so then what? You're rehabbing from a fractured back your whole rookie year, which we all know that's not a rehab that you can go work out during. You're not going to really work out rehabbing a fractured back. And then, he gets the offseason and everything and then tears his ACL. And mind you, I'm pretty sure he has been working out. And the Niners, it was said that he was, training off on the side during OTAs and everything like that. And I'm pretty sure he's been running routes with Wes Welker and things like that. But the man hasn't even got that much time to work on his craft. And so I always thought that that's a little interesting thing. And it'll bring up a topic that I want to get to after we get to the through the tight ends. And so let's go ahead and get through that. We've got MyCole Pruitt. Now, Matt Maiocco. MyCole Pruitt. Matt Maiocco said he liked him. Matt Maiocco said that he was his, I don't want to say it was his sneaky pick to make the roster, but the way Matt Maiocco put it is, if you're just walking in thinking la-di-da, la-di-da, oh, this is just a camp body, la-di-da-di-da, you might not another thing coming. He obviously came from the Titans, he obviously came from the Titans, and he had what was it? Let me see. And through 2018 to 2020, he appeared in 63 games, 18 starts, registered 32 receptions for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also saw action in 5 postseason contests, 2 starts, and added 6 receptions for 50 yards. In 2020 with the Titans, he appeared in 11 games, 4 starts, and notched 5 receptions for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. So obviously not numbers that are going to set the world on fire, but when your main tight end is George Kittle, I don't even need 20 receptions from you. You know what I'm saying? Really, we're talking about the last target on offense. Our second tight end is probably the 5th option on the team, 4th receiving option. You're going to go Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. I would say running the running backs and then our second tight end. So I'm not expecting
Probably.
much from him. But like we said with Warner, like we said with Peterson, and like we said with Ross Boss, the second and third tight end extremely up the air. And so would I give him a shot to make the team? Yeah, I would. Because if the team was sold on Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly on tight ends, they wouldn't have brought him in. They brought him in for a reason. They brought him because they feel that he can at least push somebody for a roster spot this year. Jason, your thoughts?
So I actually think he's going to be the number 2 tight end. I think he's going to push out Dwelly
Really?
or Warner. That's my prediction. Well,
Yeah.
Who's he been blocking for lately over in Tennessee? Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
And what does it not look like we are going to more of a power running scheme with the way we picked up some of the guys?
Say that.
Well, no, I'm just saying that that's.
I want it.
I take him for his blocking. He's a damn good blocker. He's very Kittle-esque when it comes to blocking. So I think he's going to break in as number 2, and he's one of those guys who's either going to get cut or pushed down the practice squad, or I don't know if they're eligible or not, but I think he's going to be the number 2. Some start of the season.
I as we'll get into this more in depth, next week when we talk about the quarterbacks, but it does really seem like we're definitely on defense. It seems like we're going to go through a little bit of so much of a scheme change and probably go to more cover 4, cover 2 based scheme instead of heavy cover 3. But on offense, it does seem like we're gearing up to be a more run-heavy team. And, it's just I want to say it. I want to say that, yeah, I believe we're going to run more power this year. More inside zone, more gaps, more traps. Those type of games. With Jalen Moore and Aaron Banks being the investments that we took this year in the draft. I want to say that. And so fine, if you want to tell me that he's a better blocker than Ross Boss and Charlie Warner and can give you as much as catching, as much, if not more, catching the ball, then yeah, cool. Make him our second tight end then. Now, I will say this. As much as, and obviously going to get into him next, as much as we love Kittle Corn, as much as that, I don't care that he missed, 8 games is a little too much, but, I'm chalking up George Kittle's going to miss a game or 2 this year. I'm just purely off of playing style. He's going to miss a game or 2. But when you're the Niners' second tight end.
Everybody is.
Yeah, exactly. When you're the Niners' second tight end, you're theoretically, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to be the Niners' number 1 tight end at some point in the season. And so
for at least a game or 2.
Yeah, for at least a game or 2. And so I would like that veteran presence, and everything like that. I'm not sold on Warner at all. Go Niners. A dude just walked by with a Niners shirt and a Niner hat on right now. Anyway, as we're recording a Niner, yeah.
How's the bring on the show?
He got away. I was about to be like, hey, Bray, you want to come on the podcast? Talk a little Niner football? Surprise guest. So I'm down. That's cool. Now to get to the people's tight end, or like I like to refer to him as Kittle Corn. What can you say about the man? Obviously, George Kittle's making the roster.
You think?
Now, best tight end in the league. I've said a million times we should change our name to the San Francisco George Kittles. The man's a freaking mascot. The man's a maniac. Stay tuned. We are going to be releasing our Kittled T-shirt with for the faithful, by the faithful. So that will be coming soon, and I think everybody's going to want that Kittled shirt. So, Jason, your thoughts on George Kittle? I don't really know pretty much what else to say that hasn't been said a billion times.
I mean, he's the heart and soul of this team. He is the leader of this team. Um, what do you want? You could argue over. We could argue with anybody over who if he's actually the best tight end in the league. Obviously, we're a little biased and we think he is. But if you want, it's between him and Kelsey, obviously. But I mean, like I said, we need him. We need that. He brings so much energy and passion to this game. Everybody absolutely loves him. If something was to happen to Kittle where we lost him for a year, just the morale itself
Knock on
would just
wood.
be destroyed. Yeah.
Knock
But I mean,
on
just
wood.
like the morale, he brings so much to everything. And we're not even talking about the way his game. We're just talking about him just running around with the players, the team. So we need him. We need him to be George. And like you said, for us, if we want George to be George, it means he's going to miss a game or two every season just because of how he plays. And like you said, I'm willing to lose that.
It's how many times have we said it on the show? Pretty much every time you wear the 4th and 2 George Kittle shirt, I say, if you like that play, if you like him carrying half the Yams defense on his back, if you like, no, I meant the Yams. I wasn't talking about the 4th and 2 play. I was saying if you like the 4th and 2 play and him carrying half the Yams on his back and the diving catches and everything that he does, he's just going to miss a game or two. I'm okay with that. I'm fine because the man is going to go like a maniac whenever he's on the field. Now, what also I like about George Kittle is that he went and installed these beam bars. I guess they're foam beam bars to work on his foot strength. Yeah, to work on his foot strength. So what is he? And every year you hear George admit what he needs to get better. He's admitted that every offseason he says, "Hey, I need to work on this. I need to get better on this." And what does he do? He does it. What does he say his biggest issue last year? Availability. He missed half the games. Cool, I missed half the games with my broken foot. Well, let me go ahead and make sure my feet are stronger this year. Let me go ahead and install these beams to make sure my feet are stronger. The one thing I would like to see George Kittle, and maybe if you're a Kelsey fan, you might be able to. This might be the argument you mostly use. Is I want to see him catch more touchdowns in the red zone. I would like to see him, and that's fine. Like I said, Kittle don't change a thing. If George Kittle never has more than 8 touchdowns in his career in a single season, I'm okay with that. Whatever, fine. Kyle Shanahan, we're going to get touchdowns. I'm not worried about it because he's going to get a 60-yarder that he's wide the hell open with at least 2-3 times a year. So, and George Kittle is a legit threat to take it to the house anywhere on the football field at any time, especially when you watch. My favorite Kittle and Shanahan moment was the touchdown against the Chargers in 2018 when Kyle Shanahan literally went right route. Okay, my bad. Internet was a little. That's just to me. And I said I would talk about this week. People ask me, TJ, is George Kittle a Hall of Fame tight end? And I ask them one simple question: is he playing the majority of his career with Kyle Shanahan? If he is, yes, no doubt. First ballot Hall of Famer, probably. If he goes somewhere else,
it's too early.
Let's be real. He's going to play majority of his career in the red and gold. But
it's too early.
Okay, fine. Then I won't get his gold jacket fitted yet, but he's on a trajectory.
I mean, if he plays another 3 or 4 years at this level, he's at least going to the ring.
Yeah, definitely. I would think that.
Hall of Fame?
I would definitely think that. Three to four more years at this level, and maybe a championship. And yeah, I would see him going into the Niners. I see him going into the Edward J. DeBarlo Sr. 49ers Hall of Fame. A couple more years like this, and you know what? Because this is his 5th season. You give me 3 or 4 more years. That's 8 to 9 seasons. at an all-pro
Yeah.
level, and you add a ring into that, you know what? He would play just as long as Patrick Willis, and Patrick Willis is going in this year.
Yeah.
This is okay. Then let me rephrase this and see if you would agree. If George Kittle isn't in the Hall of Fame, something had to happen. A significant injury, cross myself. Something went
Not
wrong.
necessarily. No.
I believe it, bro. I believe George Kittle's
Touchdown.
going to the Hall of Fame. George Kittle's
Touchdown.
going to the Hall of Fame.
If he continues on this same path where he's not a big touchdown making tight end, somebody like Kelsey or some of the other guys that catch more touchdowns, they will overshadow him simply so he might not be like a first ballot. I think he's got to have at least 5 more years at this level to even start talking about Ken.
Oh yeah.
But
he's not there yet.
No, but I'm saying like the Hall of Fame, especially with your tight end, you're talking about longevity or touchdowns. You're talking
about players like Mike Ditka, which obviously different era and everything like that. Yeah. But I mean, I can't even think Tony Gonzalez type of level at tight end if you're talking Hall of Fame.
And Tony wasn't always the greatest, but he played for damn near 20 years.
Yeah, he did.
He played forever, but that's how he got in for the most part. So,
yeah, I think that you've got to it's the same argument against Patrick Willis. And people ask me, do I think Patrick Willis will get in? I think it'll be very difficult. I think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him to get in because 2 things: longevity. He only played for 8 seasons, and majority of his career was on bad Niner teams. And I think that's ultimately going to hurt Patrick Willis. I ultimately think he does. NaVorro Bowman's not going to sniff the Hall. I had somebody say both should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, NaVorro Bowman's not sniffing the Hall of Fame. He might. No. Maybe if they run out of players to put in, he might make the Niners Hall of Fame. Maybe if they run out of players, to put in.
Bowman goes in like Taylor. Way too long.
Yeah. I see that.
Because Jerry overshadowed John.
And Patrick overshadowed both.
Exactly. So if Bowman gets in, it's going to be years afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, so that would wrap it up for the tight ends. 2 quick thoughts before we wrap it up here. Do you trade for N'Keal Harry?
No.
No?
We haven't. No. If they're that high on Jalen Hurd, and supposedly Juwan Jennings is just playing lights out in camp, why do you need him?
Oh, okay, fine.
If it's going that well for those 2 players right now, to where you kept Hurd, and everything you hear out of camp is Juwan Jennings is just playing out of his mind, we don't really need him.
I say you do it. Okay, so this is my question. What's the asking price? Matt Mayoko threw out this morning I guess it was last night, but I listened to it this morning on KNBR. He threw out a 4th-round pick. I'm not giving up a 4th-round pick from N'Keal Harry. You're smoking rocks. I would say
done much.
Maybe a player swap. I'm not giving up a 4th round for N'Keal Harry. Yeah, no. Matt Mayoko said a 4th round.
I wouldn't give him a 4th round.
Matt Mayoko said a 4th round pick for N'Keal Harry, and I'm like, I'm hanging up the phone on Bill Belichick if I call and he says 4th round pick. I'm just clicking the phone. The most I'm giving you is a 6th.
No, if we called it right now, Bill Belichick, and we offered him a 4th, Bill Belichick say he's signing that instantly.
Oh,
he's sending him out the door. Yeah. He's packing the door. He's packing his bag for him.
Yeah. No, I would give him a 6th, a 7th, and the only reason I say a 6th or a 7th is I understand not that much draft capital this year, and as the team transitions into getting younger, and you're starting to see that some players are going to age. Leave the team and other players are going to get their second contracts. To me, I understand. I understand that, he hasn't shown much in the pros and la, 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 la. But to me, you're not getting a 6th or 7th round prospect that has as much potential as N'Keal Harry. Now, I'm not getting in a bidding war. I'm calling up Bill Belichick right now, and I'm saying, Bill, I got a 6th, 7th round for you. And if he says no, I said, I got a 6th for you. And he says no, then I'm hanging up the phone. You know, those are my
But
two
we're just going
offers.
off pure
Take it or
potential. We
leave it.
have Hurd and Jennings, and we don't lose capital.
I could
So, I
see him
mean-
doing it. Look, is it a 911 emergency? Am I signing N'Keal Harry now? No.
Oh no,
Ideally, I would like to see what we have. Ideally, I said, look, when it first came up, I said trade for him. Now, I would prefer that being a week or two into camp, you know, when we at least got to say, okay, how does Jalen Hurd look? You know, and has he stayed healthy? How does Jauan Jennings, I was high on Jauan Jennings last year. I think Jauan Jennings, he's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be a superstar. But Jauan Jennings is going to be a nice little physical receiver, a nice little red zone threat. He's not going to burn you with long speed.
I like him to be a lot like Bourne.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe not as fast as KB, but definitely the same type of role. Yeah, the same type of role. And maybe that's why we let KB walk this year. Because that is and we'll get into it when we talked about those concerns over the Niners here in a couple weeks. That is one of my biggest concerns is the loss of KB. Now, I understand, you know, and the reason I'm most concerned about KB is A, red zone and third down, obviously, but also is, look, you know, we love Brandon Ayuk, we love Debo, but Debo hasn't exactly been the healthiest player in the NFL. And now I do believe that a lot of Brandon Ayuk's injury issues last year were more just not getting a full offseason and not being fully prepared to play 16 games of NFL football. But I'm not penciling in Brandon Ayuk for 17 games right away. And that's my biggest concern with KB. Losing KB is, okay, well, now you're only one injury away from that needing that third receiver being a number 2 or a number 1. And I'd rather have KB than unknown Jalen Hurd or unknown Jauan Jennings or River Craycraft or somebody like that. And that is my concern with losing KB.
You sleeping on Richie James?
Oh, okay. I was sleeping on Richie James. I think James
is going to bust out this year. That's my bust out for this year.
Giving away a sneak peek into the preview of the season the week before it starts. I believe it'll be the 6th. Yeah, the 6th is when we're going to do our our roundtable season preview. I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, I have a feeling that receiver might be like how we were about corner a couple years ago when we need more corners, and we were fine. I think receiver might be that way, but I'm not opposed to it. If the Niners, if it flashes across the screen right now and says the Niners just traded for N'Keal Harry for a 7th round pick next year, you know, in 2023, or even ideally, you know, cool, awesome. I'm happy. And I'm perfectly okay with taking a flyer on N'Keal Harry versus a 6th or 7th round pick that, let's be honest, is probably not making the team next year. Okay, last subject I want to get into before we give it a wrap, and that is, oh man, I totally blanked on it. What was the last subject I wanted to get into? Oh man, I totally forgot.
I don't know. You didn't send me a list.
Yeah, I didn't. I need to start sending a. No, it was something that literally popped into my head. Oh man, I'm totally gonna remember it after the show. But overall, okay, well, never mind. We'll get to it and whatever. We'll do it next week or whatever. Jason, your final 50, tight ends that make the roster. I think it's pretty obvious for fullback.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. We can skip that one. We can skip number 1 tight end. I'm going to go Kittle, Pruitt, Warner.
Yeah, that's who I have. I think that the tight ends that they brought in was a more sign of Ross Dwelly, than it was of Charlie Warner. Now, obviously, they did bring in because of concern with Charlie Warner. Or I shouldn't say concern, but where Charlie Warner is at, but you're not going to give up on a 5th-round pick a year after you draft him.
No, he's too young.
Yeah, exactly. So, I love Ross Boss,
Business.
but it's business, and if it's between him and Warner, I'm sorry, you're going to go with the draft pick. You're just simply going to go with the player that you selected in the 5th round. That's pretty basic. I mean, I don't see it at all. Mine's the same. The only way I see is maybe if Ross Dwelly and Charlie Warner shine during the preseason and you feel that you can't risk either of them to waivers and you only keep 2 quarterbacks, I could see a 4th tight end, and that would, of course, be Ross Boss. I don't think Peterson's going to make the 53. Peterson's a strictly practice squad player to me. I'd be shocked if he made the final 53.
We have an extra roster spot. It's going to the D-line.
Yeah. Now, let's be real. Let's go with the
D-line. It's going straight to the D-line.
Maybe Melvin Ingram. Hope, wish. That's never going to happen. We are not signing Melvin Ingram.
It would be too much. At that point, we're just like, when do people play?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody would have to take a serious ego check at that point.
Yeah, I mean, barring the roster we have now, now if somebody gets hurt, knock on wood, or something like that, okay, fine.
But right now,
right now that's not happening. And honestly, if I'm Ingram, do I even want to go to the Niners?
You're not going to get your full rotation like you would on a normal team.
Even if you say, hey, the best he's going to get is a 1-year deal anywhere. Okay, cool. Well, in that 1-year deal, you're probably obviously going to want to be as productive as possible.
So you can get paid.
Yeah, exactly. His most production is not going to come with the Niners. Because what? You're going to have, before he would come on, you're going to have Bosa. You're going to have, I would think, Ebukam would come on before Ingram. D Ford, if he's healthy.
It's like it would come down to him and Ford, I would think, because I think Ibukam will go before Ford right now, just based on health.
Strictly on health. All right. Well, Jason, go ahead or you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll run the ad today, and then I'll let you do the raid. So we're going to go ahead and take a 1-minute commercial break, and then we will be right back to wrap it up.
All right, and I will see who is on for Discord and see who we can get in there.
Yeah, you do that. For a second, bro, I thought we were going to struggle to go to an hour, but, we hit an hour pretty good. 58:45 right now, so not bad. It's flowing pretty well. All right, so we got quarterbacks next week. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, we got about 30 seconds. Let me get up the spiel. I'm going to go have you run. I'm going to do the spiel, have you run the raid, and then as soon as the raid's over, we'll go ahead and we'll end it. And then I have nothing to talk about after this show, bro, unless there was something you wanted to bring up.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, there's nothing. Everything's going pretty smooth. All right, and we're back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the spiel. We're going to go ahead and run the raid, and then we'll go ahead and get y'all up out of here. Jason, go ahead and tell the people how they can subscribe to NFR on Twitch?
Right now, the easiest and best way to do it is through your Amazon Prime, which I'm sure most people have out there. So a part of Amazon's Prime's subscription is you get one free sub every month to a streamer of your choice. Please choose us. You can also do the regular way, to where I think there's 3 different tiers of payments you can do. But why do that when you get the same? We get the same amount whether you do the free one or you get one of the expensive ones. So, just like I said, you have to connect your Amazon Prime to Prime Gaming and then go to it. So it's a couple steps, but it takes you like less than 5 minutes. And it puts money in our pockets and it's free for you.
There you go. We always like to find ways to put money in our pockets that don't cost y'all nothing. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Niner Faithful Radio to join us for all the live streams of all our shows. For the Faithful by the Faithful pre-launch sale is coming July 30th. Save 20% off of all our designs. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop for all the details, or follow Niner Faithful Radio Shop on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio Shop, and Twitter on Niner Faithful RS. Get your officially licensed gear by using our affiliate link at shop49ers.com. It costs you no more, and it really does help out the show. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code NinerFaithfulRadio, all one word, to save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets. And make sure you go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com to check out all our interviews and previous episodes of all our shows. Follow us on social media. Jason does a great job. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. For Super Duper Moderator Kim, Jimmy, Jason, Nate, Jamie, and myself, we'd like to thank you for tuning into this week's broadcast. Stay tuned for the raid. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners. And join me tomorrow. I'll post 3 hours before on my social media. We're just going to have a random Niner talk again. Jason, go ahead and take it away.
Go ahead and run it, and then I can start the raid.
We already did the commercial.
No, run the outro.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, hit him with the raid, Jason.
I already did. It's going.
All right, we shall see y'all next week. See ya.
I think we're scuffed right now.
Later.